Welcome to the last topic on non-probability sampling. So here we are going to discuss quota sampling. Now this sampling method is extensively used in market research. Now before I start explaining the concept, I want to confuse you with the boring bookish definition first. So here it goes. The aim of quota sampling is to produce a sample that reflects a population in terms of the relative proportions of people in different categories such as gender, ethnicity, age groups. I know you are like, what did I just hear now, right? So again, don't worry, I'm explaining it part by part very soon. So it's better if I explain this concept with an example. Now, just as before, the main meaning is hidden in the name. So here, as the name suggests, it is related to some sort of quota. You will see very soon that in this sampling, we have quota for specific types of people or things in my sample. So let's take a look at the example. And in that way, I guess the concept will be much clearer to you. Alright, let's move on to the example. Let's assume that I'm going to do a research on this topic. What is the popularity of biye barir kacchi in Dhaka among different age groups? I know all of you are missing this kind of food, alright? You are like craving for this food. Hold on for just a few more months, alright? Don't get out of home right now. Once everything goes back to normal, I guess everyone will be able to enjoy this kind of food with their friends. But for now, please do not leave home. Let's come back to the research topic. So what is the popularity of biye barir kacchi in Dhaka among different age groups? Now, for this research topic, let's assume that I want to use quota sampling. If I use quota sampling method, what would be my first step? So here goes the step-by-step explanation. The first step would be divide the target population into groups based on some characteristic. So in this case, the characteristic would be age. Why? Because I want to measure the popularity among different age groups. Now please keep in mind that this division is going to take place in my head. So the researcher in their head is going to divide the whole population into groups based on age in this case. Now say for this study, I'm going to divide the whole population into two groups, young people and adult people. So I'm going to collect data from these two groups of people and then describe or compare the popularity of Kacchi Biryani between these two groups of people. Now moving on to the next step. Here it goes. Now I want to survey 200 people in total. So my overall sample size is going to be 200. However, the next question is how many young and how many adult people I'm going to do a survey on. I know that in total I'm going to collect survey from 200 people. However, how many of these 200 people are going to be youths and how many of them are going to be adults? So I need to decide that number. So the next step is related to fixing that number, and this is very, very important. Now, before I go on to the next step, I want to summarize the things that I have done till now. So I have mentally or in my head divided the whole target population into two groups, young people and adult people. And then I have decided that I'm going to collect data from 200 people. Now I'm going to decide that among these 200 people, how many are going to be youths and how many are going to be adults. So here comes the next step. Assume you know that the ratio of young people and adult people in Dhaka is 60 to 40. And by young people, I mean people less than 25 years of old, and by adults, I mean people greater than 25 years of age. So yes, from here, I know that the ratio of youths and adults in Dhaka is 60 to 40. So 60% youths and 40% adult. Where did I get this information from? Say from population census or Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics. It is available on the internet. So I have collected this ratio from the internet. Now, based on this ratio, here comes the next step. So in my sample, I want to maintain the same proportion of youths and adults. So in my sample, I want to also maintain the same ratio, 60 to 40. So what's the next thing I'm going to do? Here it is. So if you decide to take a sample of 200 people in total, You will ask the survey question to 120 young people and 80 adult people. Now, why 120 young people? Because 60% of 200 is 120 and 40% of 200 is 80 adult people. So as we decided earlier that we are going to maintain the same ratio of 60 to 40 in our sample, so that is why we are going to select 120 young people and 80 adult people. So whatever I have done till now, I can say the whole concept in this one line. So before starting to collect data in quota sampling, I set a quota for each group of people. This is the most important line for quota sampling. So what I did here, so before even starting to collect data or going out on the streets to talk to people, I have decided in my head that yes, among the 200 people, I will maintain the ratio of 60 to 40, and that is why I have decided on a quota of 120 young people in my sample and another quota for 80 adult people in that same sample. And sort of that is the reason we call it quota sampling. Again, why? Because before collecting data, we set quota for specific groups of people. So once we have decided on the quota, what is the next step? The next steps are really easy. So all we have to do now is this. After deciding on the number of people in each quota, you get out of the streets and start serving young and adult people as per your need. So this is the first time we are actually starting to collect data. Till now, we have done all the calculations in our head and decided on the number of people that I'm going to save for each quota. So yes, here we have started collecting data by going out on the streets. So you keep on surveying until your quota is fulfilled. That means you have collected responses from 120 youths and 80 adults. So here I go out on the streets and keep on collecting data from people until I have received 120 youth responses and 80 adult responses. As soon as I'm done, I will stop collecting further surveys. So this is the whole process of quota sampling. So again, what happened here? Before starting to collect data, I decided the quota for each individual group. And then I started collecting surveys as per my need. However, please take note of this point. When selecting youths and adults for your sample, you do not use any random sampling method. For example, simple random sampling. We choose youths and adults as per our wish. So it is a non-probability sampling method. Why? Because I am walking down the street and surveying people as per my need. So I'm not going to follow a specific system here. So I go down on the street and maybe I survey whomever I find on the street. So yes, we are done with all the different types of sampling method. So we have seen all the different types of probability sampling, and then we have covered all the different types of non-probability sampling. Now please, I would request again that all of you go through the 11-page document that I have uploaded earlier. It provides you a thorough definition and detail of all the different types of probability and non-probability sampling methods. Alright? So we are done here. Thank you for listening to this lecture. See you in the next class.